Welcome to Make It Rain with Adam Schein on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Monday edition, Make It Rain with Adam Schein here on VSiN. And my goodness, we have so much to do today. What a weekend in sports. I mean, so many different sports, from basketball to hockey to baseball to WNBA to horse racing to golf to football. Everything was going on in the world of sports and sports betting. And it really sets up an unbelievable week of conversation and contests and content and sports gambling and wagering for this upcoming week. This is going to be an unbelievable show today. The NBA Conference Finals are set. We will get into everything that happened in basketball, everything that happened in baseball. Adam Burke, VSiN.com superstar betting analyst, is going to join us. We're looking forward to that. We will get into all the hockey, all the football, all the WNBA, Scotty Scheffler. Journalism winning the Preakness, as we said, would absolutely happen on Friday's sizzling edition of Make It Rain with Adam Schein. Let's start with all the NBA from the weekend, and it was absolutely glorious, or thunderous, depending upon your perspective. And listen, we made the point on Friday's sizzling edition of Make It Rain with Adam Schein. We love the Thunder to win. We love the Thunder to cover. Now, being fair, was I at least a little bit nervous when they were down 11 points in the first quarter? Yes, absolutely. But I think that's what makes the Thunder and their thunderous victory even more impressive when you look at the fact that they were down 11 early, and at one point they were leading this ball game, Game 7 against Denver, by 43 points. 125-93. Tremendous job. SGA was awesome. He had 35. I thought Jalen Williams was difference-making. He had 24. Mark Daigneault, the head coach, went to Alex Caruso to add a spark. He was plus 40, by the way, Caruso, in his plus-minus, and he would put him, a diminutive player who's scrappy, on Jokic. They constantly doubled Jokic, swarmed Jokic. Absolutely amazing. The team defense was unreal. Lou Dort was incredible. Chet was outstanding. Isaiah Hartenstein was awesome. Everything about it was just amazing. The crowd is great. They went ballistic in OKC when Wallace had that thunderous breakaway dunk. I mean, the whole thing was just remarkable. And look, I think that they took advantage of some really poor coaching, and I like David Adelman, the interim head coach, a lot for Denver, and I hope he gets this job permanently, but you can't sit Murray and Jokic at the same time in a Game 7. I mean, that's not acceptable. And bam, I mean, the floodgates absolutely open. Denver got off to a good start. Aaron Gordon, the epitome of toughness, playing with that bad hamstring. I thought Brown was excellent early as well for the Denver Nuggets. And, man, OKC was not going to be denied. And it is ridiculously incredible watching this team play. Ridiculously incredible watching them play at home. That home crowd adds amazing energy. I know it's a small market, but these fans are just amazing, and we loved every single second of what we saw and what we witnessed when you analyze everything here from an Oklahoma City perspective. This was the biggest game in franchise history. They couldn't lose a Game 7. They had the best record, 68-14 in the regular season in the NBA. They win a title, and you know that's our prediction for Make It Rain with Adam Schein right from the get-go. Listen, this is going to be one of the great single seasons in the history of the NBA. And now the Western Conference Finals are set. And I think that you're going to see the Thunder beat Minnesota in 7 games. I think that Minnesota is playing incredible ball. I think the Timberwolves are rested. I think that they're fired up. I think Ant and Julius Randle are playing brilliantly together, which is absolutely remarkable. I think that you look at Chris Finch's team, obviously they are ridiculously talented and they're well coached. And look, I think Game 1 is going to be incredible. And you take a look at the odds for game number 1. I actually think this number is a little big in terms of the point spread for OKC. 7.5. I wouldn't touch it. I mean, this was a grueling series for OKC. They spent a lot of energy. I'm picking OKC to win Game 1, but 7.5 feels a little rich with the way Anthony Edwards has been playing. It's not just Ant and Julius Randle. It's Mike Conley, great veteran calming presence at the point guard position. Love what I'm seeing from him and Rudy Gobert and Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo and McDaniels. This is a Minnesota team that just beat the Lakers in 5. They beat Golden State in 5, albeit for those games without Steph Curry. But that's not even the point. This is going to be a series. So you look at the odds board for the series, and I mentioned I like OKC to win game 1. I think it goes the distance. I think that, the two best bets on the board are either OKC in 7 or OKC in 6. You can see that the Thunder, rightly so, are heavy favorites to win the series at minus 330. Minnesota at plus 265. Minnesota, forget the regular season. They're playing much better ball in the postseason. They've come together at the right time. I think OKC, look, the beauty of this postseason, which we'll really stress in a second, all 4 of these teams can absolutely win. I think that Minnesota is more of a threat than the odds makers do. I would have put it more closer to, Thunder minus 200. That's what I would have personally opted for. And I love OKC. OKC did play around with their food a little bit too much. I do think they could learn based upon what happened in this series. And, now you can't talk about it from a Thunder standpoint and say, well, everyone else has more experience. The Celtics are out. The Lakers with LeBron, and they're gone, right? There's no Steph Curry left in the postseason. There's no Jimmy Butler left in the postseason. So, championship experience need not apply here, right? I mean, you don't see it on Minnesota, you don't see it in New York, and you don't see it in Indiana. So I think calling the Thunder the clear favorite, or at least the favorite, and or you don't have to say, well, playoff experience is going to doom them, won't be the case because nobody has that quote-unquote NBA championship Larry O'Brien experience. So that is not an issue as far as I am concerned. Eastern Conference Finals are set, and honestly, I am so excited. We said on Friday that we were anxious about the Knicks, and the Knicks would win, and the Knicks would cover. That was the best bet. And now we have the Eastern Conference Finals set with the Knicks and the Pacers, and man, this is amazing. We've been waiting 25 years. 25 years. I mean, it's insane. That's how long it's been for me as a diehard Knicks fan. There are a lot of Knicks fans who have never even seen their team in the Eastern Conference Finals. 25 years, Jalen Brunson, amazing. OG, amazing. Cat, amazing. Hart, amazing in terms of the energy. Mitchell Robinson, the defense. That sequence, the ball movement where he was able to literally go around the perimeter and basically get in Jaylen Brown's jock. I mean, that was if there's a sequence that would tell an entire story for the New York effort, that's what it was. Give Tom Thibodeau credit, the big 3 for New York. It's really Brunson, Thibodeau, and Leon Rose changed the entire culture of this New York Knicks team and everything that goes into the mix. And honestly, I can't get enough. I am obsessed. I am impressed. Jalen Brunson is the most clutch player in the NBA. He's New York tough. He's amazing. And I think this is going to be such an amazing old school throwback series. Look, the Pacers are legit. Indiana, they just beat Cleveland in 5. I mean, that's not a fluke. Indiana's been the second best team in basketball since the calendar flipped, which is kind of incredible. They were a tremendous team last year. Carlisle's a gem. Halliburton's a gem. And, Spicy P has a ring from Toronto. Turner's excellent. I love McConnell. I love Obi Toppin. I think that Naismith, Nebhard, these guys are tremendous, and there's no ego. And Halliburton's been, the second most clutch player in this postseason, besides Jalen Brunson. I think the Knicks will win this series in 7. I think they're going to win coming up on Wednesday night. Stinks that we have to wait for this series to start on Wednesday, but I do like the Knicks laying the 4. I think that the Knicks learned a lot from what happened in the series with Boston. The fact that they had the most lopsided playoff win in Knicks franchise history, I thought was a big deal. They did it at home. They felt the energy of the crowd. Everything about it was really tremendous. And look, I'm going to take the Knicks in 7 as well. I think both these series are going the distance. I look at that. It's New York in 7 at plus 400. That will be my play. This is basically a pick'em. New York, as you see, a slight favorite, minus 145. I am so excited. It's been way too long. That's why New York's going batty, because it's been a minute. And this is why the NBA Final Four is fantastic, because most of these fan bases have never seen a championship. Take a look at this. Last time the Knicks won a title, and they have 2 in their history, was 73. I was born in 77. I'm turning 48 next month. I've never seen the Knicks win a championship. Pacers, unbelievable basketball history, and it's in Indiana, and Indianapolis, great sports city. Never seen a title. Don't talk to me about the Sonics. I don't care what the NBA says. They don't hang the Seattle banner up in the arena. The Thunder have never won. The Timberwolves have never won. So the fact that we're going to see a new fan base, a new team win, a fan base where most people who are alive have never seen their team win a championship, I mean, it's just incredible. And you look at the odds for these teams, right? And you know, on Make It Rain with Adam Schein, we have the tape. If it hits, we're going to bring it back. We're going to loop it and play it nonstop. I had the Thunder over the Knicks as my pick when the season started. Thunder should be the favorite to win it all now, and they are at minus 145. Then it's Knicks plus 450, Timberwolves plus 550, Pacers plus 600. That sounds right, feels right. I think that Minnesota and Indiana both, if that turns out to be the finals, I'm not going to bat an eye. I do have Knicks Thunder, as we did in the preseason. I have the Knicks and the Thunder both winning in 7 games. But this NBA Final Four, phenomenal.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Smarter bets start here. Last all year with VSiN Pro. Right now, sign up on an annual subscription and get 14 months for just $199 when you use the promo code PRO. That's 2 extra months for free. For less than 50 cents a day, become a VSiN Pro subscriber today and get instant access to a daily email with all the best bets from hosts and their guests, real-time betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 video access on the VSiN Watch app, plus full access to VSiN.com's analytics and the betting trends and expert breakdowns. Don't wait. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe. Use the promo code PRO to lock in this offer. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. Welcome back. Make It Rain with Adam Schein. What a manic Monday after an insane weekend in sports. I mean, if you're a Maple Leafs fan or a Maple Leafs bettor and my hand is raised, you kind of want to throw up in your mouth. I mean, are you kidding me? The Maple Leafs just find a way to break your heart. 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and the Maple Leafs fail when it matters the most. 0-7 in their last 7 Game 7s. 2-14 in elimination games since the salary cap era started. I mean, this is a disgrace, an embarrassment, a pathetic punchline and a joke. And I feel terrible for all the Maple Leafs fans. And it was 0-0 after the first period. And then at one point, it was 3-1 after Max Domi scored. And then, bam, seconds later, literally 40 seconds later, Panthers scored again. And then it's 4-1. And next thing you know, I mean, my goodness, it's embarrassing. And it's 6-1. And it's a disgrace. And I mean, it's one thing to lose at home. It's another thing to get bludgeoned. And again, it just keeps happening. And this team needs an enema. This team needs an attitude adjustment. This team needs a cleansing. It is a complete and utter embarrassing joke when you look at this from a Maple Leafs perspective. Marner needs to go. Tavares needs to go. You know, I can appreciate running it back last year to this year, but somehow the result's the same. And what do they say about the definition of insanity? I mean, it's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So now we're going to have the Panthers and the Hurricanes coming up in the conference final. And listen, I'll tell you the story of the Hurricane. They're going to get bounced in 5. I don't even think they should be on the ice with the defending champs. We will take the Panthers, and the way that Bob is playing between the pipes and the way Marchand has added to the talent and the toughness, the way Paul Maurice's team has been able to take care of business, we will take the Panthers to win this series in 5 games at plus 600. Stars beat the Jets, same old Jets. Stars win in 6, as we predicted, advance to the Western Conference Finals. And listen, it's going to be the Stars and the Oilers. And honestly, I love the Oilers, and you know that I have. That's been the pick on Making It Rain with Adam Schein. Oilers to win a Stanley Cup and win the championship this year. And, you know, listen, I think it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. I think that the best thing that can happen to hockey will happen. They'll get a rematch of the Oilers and the Panthers from last year in the Cup final. And look, we are going to take the Oilers to win this series, and we're going to take them to win it in 6 games. I'm going to give the Stars a couple of games in this one because I do think that they're talented and they're confident. But honestly, I think it's closer to 5 than 7. I really think that we're looking at something brilliant here from an Edmonton perspective. I think Skinner and Draisaitl, and most especially McJesus, is going to be unbelievable. I think Hyman's going to have a big series. We will take the Oilers to take care of business and win in 6 games. If you're a Mets fan, what transpired all weekend with Juan Soto has got to make you sick. And as a Yankee fan, I loved every single second. In fact, I was saying it in my dreams last night. Boo! Take that, Juan Soto, who, by the way, went 1 for 10. 1 for 10. 1 for 10. He sold out. The New York Yankees pivoted. And you know we said this in real time on Make It Rain with Adam Schein, that the team would be better with Fried, Williams, Bellinger, Goldschmidt. Look at the heroes last night in the rubber game. All 4 of those guys. The irony was not lost. Soto didn't hustle on a ground ball. Soto couldn't buy a hit. It's pretty clear that Aaron Judge and the rest of the teammates hate him. Look, I'll always defend Juan Soto for how he played as a Yankee. He was tough and clutch and amazing last year. He was out of this world. He took the money. Fine. Everyone's entitled to take the money. Whatever you do for a living, that's your choice. That's great. But the Yankees got better, and I think the Yankees are, if they had Garrett Cole, they'd be a World Series team. They don't, so they're going to have to fight in the wide-open American League, and the Yankees are leading the division, and the Yankees, you know, Bellinger hitting that grand slam bomb in the 8th right over Soto's head was a perfect image. Max Fried, absolutely sensational. Again, 6 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts. He has been remarkable. I always have loved his stuff. Love him even more now that he's wearing the pinstripes. And this was emotional, it was real, it was personal, and I loved every single second of it from a Yankees perspective as they take the Subway Series, and the fans heartily booed Juan Soto like no other. How about what transpired with our guy Paul Skeens getting out-dueled by Abel yesterday in Abel's debut for the Philadelphia Phillies? Mick Abel was outstanding. Paul Skeens is 0 for May, and he's given up 7 runs. I mean, it's a disgrace. I mean, it's crazy. Given up 3 runs in the month of May, and he's 0 for the month. I mean, it's an embarrassment, a total embarrassment. 0-3 in his past 4 starts, 2.52 ERA, and he's got a 2.44 ERA this season. Skeens does, at his 5th among pitchers. I mean, the anxiety level, if you are a fan here of the Pittsburgh Pirates, where, you know, you start fitting him for a jersey and picking out a uniform number with the Phillies or the Yankees or the Mets, the Dodgers or the Red Sox or the Cubs. And I hate this conversation. I wish that the Pirates were, you know, had a new owner and a new general manager, and they spent money, and they should have made the playoffs last year. The division is relatively weak, and the Pirates are irrelevant because they don't have players around Paul Skeens, and they punted on baseball, and the ballpark is beautiful. And, you know, I remember, you know, that we are family Pirates, and it's all just such a shame, and it's an embarrassment, and it's a waste. And this whole thing is an anxiety-filled, and you can't even get excited for Skeens Day when you can't give him any run support. Yet again, it's a disgrace. The antithesis of a disgrace, how about our guy Scottie Scheffler? Winning the PGA Championship, and my goodness, I mean, you look at Scottie, the way he is so calm, so dominant, everyone else crumbles around him. That's old school Tiger Woods. And, you know, it's kind of amazing when you look at what he's able to do and how he runs away with it and how everyone else fails when it comes to how they handle it and the pressure, what Rahm did. And, you know, you look at some of the nuggets of jubilation and domination for someone like Scheffler, and it's crazy when you put it into a historical perspective. I mean, we're talking about a guy, 82 starts in the last 4 seasons, 45 top fives, 18 wins and 3 major championships. He's got a gold medal, and he's been able to be number 1 in the world for 141 weeks, making $75 million in PGA Tour money. I remember last year at this time, he was getting out of jail. I mean, the whole thing was absolutely, positively insane. He's won his last 2 PGA Tour starts by 5 or more shots. Last player to do that was Tiger Woods in 2000. I mean, he is just unbelievable in every possible way and needs to be celebrated here when you watch him dominate and win event after event, major after major. Journalism. Who says journalism's dead? Journalism wins the Preakness, our pick on Friday. And I got to tell you, this felt like, if you watched the race, and I know that you did, this felt like Marshawn Lynch against the Saints. I mean, journalism went into beast mode. I mean, this was a Kyle Brandt's angry run. I mean, this was unreal. Down, out, not ready to rock and roll, and then, bam, journalism, baby. I'd like to sit here and toot my own horn for picking journalism, but yeah, that was, I mean, it felt easy and obvious watching the game, watching the race, you know, in the beginning. It was, you know, not something that was clear and obvious, but journalism, tremendous job winning the Preakness. That was fun. How about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark yet again? The rivalry is at a fevered pitch, pun intended. And, you know, I could not believe that they called a flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark. That was not even close to being a flagrant foul. Now, we did tell you on Friday, and we're going to make sure when applicable, we hit you with a lot of bets, and we've been on fire to start now. We said Fever to win and cover. They did. We said that Caitlin Clark, in terms of the points, rebounds, and assists, would hit over, and it did. You know, obviously, you look at Clark with the triple-double. We picked the Fever to win a championship. That had some good juice attached. We took Caitlin Clark as our pick in terms of going out and winning an MVP. So, do we feel great about this? Yes. Yes, we do. It's game 1, but it goes to show that Caitlin Clark, it's a totally different mindset. The Fever beefed up the roster, new head coach. This is going to be must-see TV all season long.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Take your betting to the next level with First Bets, whether it's Santa Anita, Gulfstream Park, Saratoga Racecourse. First Bet puts the action at your fingertips. Sign up now at firstbets.com. That's the number 1, stbets.com. Use the promo code VSiN200 to score a 20% rebate on all your wagers for the first 60 days, up to $200. Don't miss out. Bet smarter today. Firstbets.com. Welcome back, Make It Rain with Adam Schein. Joining us right now live on the Progressive Guest Line, making his Make It Rain with Adam Schein debut. He is my guy. We talk about him all the time on Make It Rain with Adam Schein. He is the managing editor at VSiN.com, managing editor for everything VSiN. My guy, betting analyst, superstar, the great Adam Burke, who's nice enough to join us. Adam, how are you?
I'm good. I'm even better now after gassing me up like that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Listen, you're amazing. You know I think that. I'm not just saying that publicly and gassing you up. I say that when we talk and when we text because you're great. And, I'll tell you, for anyone listening who doesn't have VSiN Pro, make sure you get it. You get all the access to all of Adam Burke's incredible work and the incredible team over at VSiN.com. And, every single preview is an absolute must read. And, Adam, I love it all. But you know how much I love baseball, and I'm baseball obsessed, and I love baseball in general. I love baseball betting, and, I get into all this. Rays Astros kind of interest me greatly from a couple of different perspectives. And, I'm fascinated by Houston. I still subscribe, by the way, as one of those guys where I like to take that first glimpse at the standings the Tuesday after Memorial Day, really kind of see who's hot, who's not, who's trending in what direction. Astros, it's like Freddy or Jason in the horror movie. They're not dead until you actually see the body, even though I didn't pick them this year to make the playoffs. Give us your overall feel of the Astros and what you're looking for with Astros Rays.
Yeah, I think it's tough right now with the Astros. Offensively, this has not been a very, very good unit. Yordan Alvarez is hurt again. And, he's a guy who wasn't hitting right-handed pitching anyway before he wound up hitting the IL. So, they have a lot of offensive issues right now, a lot of turnover. They brought in some guys that had some track records that really haven't performed up to their capabilities. Obviously, I'm sure they wish they still had Kyle Tucker with the season that he's having for the Cubs. But look, this is still a very good organization when it comes to understanding and evaluating pitching. The problem is, Spencer Arrighetti's out. Hayden Wesneski just had is going to have Tommy John here in the not too distant future. They don't have a whole lot of pitching depth, and they also have maybe the most attractive impending free agent starter at the trade deadline in Framber Valdez. They may be forced into a decision when we get to July. Are we actually going to try to contend for this and take our small percentage World Series chance? Or are we going to trade a guy like Valdez, kind of get a couple more young players in that we can kind of mold and shape within our organization? I think that that's the more likely outcome for this team right now, because I just don't see them, having the top end talent as they have in past years to go out there and win this division, which is very much there for the taking. But I just don't think that this Houston team is really all that good this year.
Listen, we're on the same page. I didn't pick them to make the playoffs. And, I do think, and this is probably part of their dilemma, in the American League this year, you just have to make it. And as an example, right, I picked, the Rangers preseason to go to the World Series. I think today the Tigers are the best team. I think if you're a Mariners fan or a Yankees fan or a Twins or a Royals fan, you're thinking, okay, we've got a path here if we make it. Houston, they obviously have gobs of experience. It's a different kind of team. I think you nailed it on, kind of their dilemma here. Now, in terms of the ball game tonight, any plays on Rays Astros?
Yeah, so I do have one for tonight. And by the way, I will say this. There's only 4 teams in the American League on an 89 or better win pace. So it is very, very wide open at this point in time.
Yep.
And I agree with what you said. You just kind of get in and, wait and see what happens, because the MLB playoffs is a big tournament of variance. But as far as today's game goes, so again, one of the biggest changes for Tampa Bay this season is that they're playing outside. They're playing at George Steinbrenner Field, the spring training home of the Yankees. They're not playing at Tropicana Field anymore, which was just a phenomenal pitcher's park. And, that has hurt guys like Ryan Pepio. It's hurt guys like Zach Littell. But the guy I think it's going to hurt tonight is actually Houston starter Colton Gordon. So this is a guy that he's making his second MLB start. Didn't get a whole lot of swings and misses against the Royals in his first time out, swinging strike percentage under 3%. I don't know that the command is necessarily there for him, and he's got to be a command guy. Doesn't throw hard. He's a 6'4" lefty, but he's got good extension, only throws about 90, 91. Can't overpower anybody. And even though the Rays have struggled against left-handed pitching so far, Gordon is a fly ball type of guy on a warm, humid night down in Tampa, wind blowing out a little bit at the start of this game. I actually like the Rays' first 5 team total over 2.5 with a fly ball guy in a good hitting environment, and a chance for Tampa Bay to actually elevate the baseball. They're down near the bottom of the league in terms of fly ball percentage. This guy should allow them to hit the ball in the air, and I think we'll see it carry as a result.
Oh, this is why I love you. This is why we love you. That's a terrific breakdown and a couple of good plays tonight on the Rays and the Astros. And I love that Astros conversation in general. How about Orioles Brewers? Baltimore, and I never took the cheese on Baltimore. They had the second, third highest odds, best odds in Vegas preseason to win the American League. I thought they'd miss the playoffs. I thought their under was one of the best bets before the season. Oftentimes you fire the manager before a series where you feel like you can ultimately go on a run. I kind of feel like betting the Orioles actually makes some sense with Dean Kramer on the bump tonight. How you feeling about the Orioles and the Brew Crew?
Yeah, I took Baltimore here. I mean, look, there's just so many weird things going on with this team that there has to be a correction coming here soon. They did fire Brandon Hyde, and we'll see what kind of impact that has long term here. But, I mean, this is an Orioles team that's given up the highest OPS in baseball to the opposition's 7, 8, and 9 hitters. That's probably not going to continue. They're not performing with runners in scoring position, even though they're a top 5 offense in hard hit percentage, top 10 offense in barrel percentage. The contact quality, the contact authority is there for this Baltimore team. They should be doing better offensively than they have been doing over the last few weeks here. I get it. The pitching staff is not very good, and they didn't address that problem. And now we're seeing that kind of play out right in front of our eyes. But this is not a team that should have twice as many losses as they do wins. I think at some point there's going to be a bit of a correction here. Maybe it starts tonight with Dean Kramer on the mound, who doesn't have great numbers by any means, but give me the better offense here with Baltimore. I don't think that Quinn Priester is really any better than Dean Kramer. I still love this Orioles bullpen, at least the talent level that they have, despite their performance so far this season. There's just a lot going on with this team. And frankly, maybe it'll help them to get out on the road. When you're at home, when the manager gets fired, you got to answer all these questions, all of that. Back on the road, you're with the boys, you're going to team dinners, you're just kind of away from it all, just focusing on baseball. Maybe this will be a decent series for them. So I do think they get the win tonight, and I did take the very small underdog price with Baltimore here.
How about a play on Royals and Giants? Two of my favorite teams to watch so far this season. I think they're both very entertaining, especially for me, Kansas City. I'm kind of obsessed. A play tonight on San Francisco and Kansas City?
Yeah, I like the under 7.5 in this game. I mean, Chris Bubich having a great season, 166 ERA, 315 expected ERA, 268 FIP, strikeout per inning, great walk rate, a guy who, doesn't really need the help from a command standpoint, from a home run standpoint. But, hey, Oracle Park is a tremendous pitcher's park, as we know. Giants, not a very good offense against lefties. They don't walk a whole lot against lefties, despite being top 10 in Major League Baseball in walk rate. And the Royals, I still don't like anything about this offense. So, you get Bobby Witt out, you can neutralize this offense. And Robbie Ray's been really, really good here of late. The Royals don't draw walks. So that kind of takes away, to some degree, one of the worst things that Robbie Ray has in his profile, and that's his control. I just think this is a very low-scoring game. Both bullpens have everybody available. I like the under 7.5 here, even if we're laying a bit of juice on it.
Tigers, Cardinals. I mentioned Tigers, best team in the American League, best winning percentage in baseball. Normally I love betting on Sonny Gray, and I've cleaned up on that through the years. And there's a part of me, Cardinals have played well, wants to take Cards, money line. I always love Sonny Gray props when it comes to strikeouts as well. What do you have tonight with the Cards and the Tigers?
Yeah, no bet in this game, but I will say, I gave a long, hard look to Detroit. I know Sean Gunther's the opener, and then Cater Montero is going to wind up coming in after him. This Cardinals team doesn't impress me on paper. I'm surprised they've gotten off to the start that they've gotten off to. Sonny Gray's fine. Velocity's trailing down a little bit. I think this is a little bit too big of a price on Detroit here, but I just couldn't get to the window on it.
Yeah, I understand that. How about Mets and the Red Sox for tonight?
Yeah, Kodai Senga's been really, really good. He's not a guy that I want to pick against, even when you're at Fenway Park. So, lean Red Sox, but nothing for me in that one.
Adam, you're the best. We encourage everyone to follow you on Twitter at Skating Tripods, and VSiN.com is the place to get all the genius from our guy, the great Adam Burke. Adam, we appreciate it.
Have a good one.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums. Earn cashback rewards, 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with the promo code RAIN. And deposit $25, and Edge Boost is going to match the deposit. edgeboost.bet. Welcome back, Make It Rain with Adam Schein. Time for our news, notes, nuggets, and nightly plays. And Jose Alvarado suspended 80 games by Major League Baseball for using performance-enhancing drugs. And listen, that's a significant suspension now. And we're also talking about, let's be clear here, you know, when you look at it and analyze it, we're talking about no postseason for Alvarado as well. So that is significant here for the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, if you look at the standings, the Mets are only a half game ahead of the Philadelphia Phillies. The Mets are only 5 games ahead of the Atlanta Braves when you take a look at the National League East. And, you know, when you look at the betting odds in the National League East, I think it's pretty competitive as well. I still think this is a blow for Philly. Don't misinterpret. I still think Philadelphia is going to be fine. I still think Philadelphia is going to find a way to make the playoffs. I still firmly believe that. I still think that Atlanta is hard charging, and they're going to have the ability to make the playoffs as well. Acuna Jr. is on the right track, and he's going to be back. And Strider's on the bump tonight. And, you know, that National League East, you know, right now, you look at the odds with the Braves at plus 425 and the Phillies at plus 160 on the heels of this news. I mean, that's pretty sweet stuff when you look at it here from the standpoint of the National League East. How about some NFL news, notes, and nuggets? And Brock Purdy and the 49ers have agreed on a contract extension. Brock and roll, baby. 5 years, $265 million, $181 million guaranteed. Brock Purdy worth every single penny, and that is a big deal. And look, Brock Purdy is remarkable. Brock Purdy is sensational. Brock Purdy, and when I'm using those words, you watch him play, you look at the numbers, and he's worthy of being paid like a franchise quarterback. Is he, you know, elite, quote unquote, as a top 5, top 8 guy? No. But you either have a quarterback or you don't. Brock Purdy's effectiveness has been off the charts. He's smart. He's been dominant. Does it help him to have great coaches and great players around him? Yes. That's the case for most quarterbacks on the face of the earth. What you don't want to do is go on the wheel of quarterbacks and hoping and wishing and wanting. And I thought it was pretty important here. And John Lynch got it and learned from last year on the heels of the debacle for San Francisco. They got ahead on this one. Last year, the 49ers, I'm going to give you a technical term, led the league in stuff. No team had more stuff than San Francisco in terms of drama and garbage and nonsense and contracts and Ayuk and will he and won't he and, you know, Trent Williams, is he going to show? And Christian McCaffrey got hurt and injuries galore. And, you know, they needed to make some changes after an atrocious 6-11 season. But I want you to take a look, and this relates here, especially on the heels of schedule released last week. Look at the schedule for San Francisco. Golden opportunity here to get off to a hot start. Seattle still 12th man, tough place to play. Niners are better than Seattle, and that'll be Sam Darnold's first game and no DK Metcalf. There's going to be a bit of a learning curve when it comes to the Seahawks for this upcoming season, and I think that San Francisco will get them at the right time. Seahawks, Saints, Cardinals, who I think are going to be really good this year, and the Jags, great opportunity to start the season 4-0. That's the expectation. I like the over for San Francisco. I'm not ready to bet it quite yet. Still need to make sure McCaffrey is healthy. I'm not putting any money on him when it comes to San Francisco for this upcoming season yet. We'll see what transpires. But this had to happen. This way, it's not a distraction. You don't have players answering questions about different things. And, you know, will they have Brock Purdy signed, sealed, and delivered? And, you know, everything that goes into that mix. So, you know, I am fascinated to see what is next here from a San Francisco 49er perspective for this season. And when I say what's next, Let's get Christian McCaffrey back on the field. Confidence that it's going to happen. And I think San Francisco is going to surprise some people this season. How about Philadelphia? Today, the team announced Nick Sirianni has a new contract extension. And listen, 1 year ago, Nick Sirianni was on the hot seat. And that might be unfair, but it was true. And they gave him 2 new coordinators and basically told him, here's what needs to change. He got called into the office, had to meet with Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie, and he made changes, and give Sirianni credit. Leadership, as Jeff Lurie said in the press release today, is phenomenal. The winning is phenomenal. 2 Super Bowls, 1-1, 2 Super Bowl appearances, and they need to make sure Nick Sirianni stays. And I think that's pretty awesome and pretty sweet. And, it just takes, again, another question mark away. And Sirianni, now that he has that championship, and he did it with grace and intelligence and leadership and aplomb, and, they're bringing in a new offensive coordinator with Kellen Moore taking the Saints job. You want to make sure you have stability and no unanswered questions at the top. So really good stuff here from a Philadelphia Eagles standpoint. I absolutely love it. And now it lets the Eagles focus on football. And, the over-under is 11.5 for the season. I do think the defense got worse based upon some defections. I do think the division, every team in that division is better. We can debate the level, right? But the Cowboys better than last year. Washington's better than last year, at least on paper. And the Giants, albeit a tough schedule, but the Giants are most certainly better. So I think Philadelphia, their upside is to win another championship. In terms of the win total, I'm going to need a second. I just want to see how I feel about the Cowboys, how I feel about the Giants and Washington moving forward. You never see repeat division winners in the NFC East. I do think Philly's in position to buck that trend. We will see how this all plays out here with the Philadelphia Eagles. But Nick Sirianni officially now part of the solution when it comes to Philadelphia. How about the wild nature of the Angels busting out the brooms and sweeping the LA Dodgers? Pigs might fly. I mean, this is officially the theater of the absurd, sheer insanity. I mean, you look at the results from this weekend, which included, by the way, a Saturday night win over my guy Clayton Kershaw, and Kershaw did not have a good debut. Look at the plus money attached, right, if you bet the Angels, and really, if you did and you claimed to, I would like to see those tickets. Plus 230, plus 185, plus 180. Nobody bet Anaheim to win all 3 of those games. There's not a chance that happened. I mean, you could easily make the case that was the most stunning result for a series all season long in Major League Baseball. I would also make the case the biggest statement of a series results in Major League Baseball, the Mariners, who busted out the brooms and swept away a tremendous Padres team. And it's that Seattle did it. It's how Seattle did it. It's how they did it with their pitching. I mean, look at the results here. The Padres scored 3 runs in 3 games. The under hit in 3 consecutive games. So congratulations if you have the under, which was certainly possible in terms of betting that. So no surprise there when you take a look at it from an under standpoint. But this was a great job, tremendous job by the Seattle Mariners. Statement of the year when you look at it here in Major League Baseball. The Liberty beat the Aces in the opener for the Liberty. I was there. I was at the game. Put a great picture up on Instagram at Adam Schein. Took my daughter. We had an absolute blast. Saw them raise a banner. And I told you on Friday, from a betting perspective, lay the 3.5 with the Liberty. I know they're playing the Aces, who are a tremendous team, and Asia Wilson's outstanding. And remember, we also told you that we had a couple of best bets with the Liberty laying the 3.5 and Brianna Stewart over 20.5 at plus 105. That baby hits as Brianna pumped in 25. So you're welcome, America. That was a blast. By the way, the crowd was amazing. Ambiance sensational, and a tremendous victory by the Liberty. Time now for the best bets, brought to you by G-Bank. Got the G-Bank Visa Signature Card today. Most credit cards treat the sportsbook and the gaming transactions as cash advances. That's even when you put your own money on the card. G-Bank treats the gaming transactions as purchase, so you're saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees on the gaming transactions right there. Also, with G-Bank, you're earning 1% cash back rewards on all eligible sportsbook and gaming transactions. 2% cash back rewards on eligible purchases. Apply now at VSiN.com/GBank, VSiN.com/GBank. Our Monday best bet, we're going to lock it in now. We will take the Panthers money line at +102 going up against the Hurricanes tomorrow. Panthers money line going up against the Hurricanes tomorrow. Stay tuned to VSiN After Make It Rain. Follow the money with Mitch and Paulie. Thanks to our incredible crew in the Vegas studios. Thanks to our incredible producer, the great Mike Cohen. Talk to you mañana. Make it rain with Adam Schein.